Ryan Holiday. Courage is calling, fortune favors the brave. Embark on a captivating exploration of courage in the book Courage is Calling, Fortune Favors the Brave, by Ryan Holiday. This insightful summary covers the many facets of courage we encounter, from moral to physical bravery, as well as the lessons learned from various characters throughout history. Discover how embracing risk and hardship enabled the likes of Hercules, Pericles, and Florence Nightingale to pave the way to glory. Unravel the power of logic, small steps, and selflessness in overcoming fear and attaining heroism. Engage in this well-organized and instructive journey that helps readers from diverse age groups understand courage's profound impact on our lives.
The essence of courage. Courage can be classified into moral and physical forms. Both types entail the willingness to face hardship and danger, making courageous choices and pursuing virtues. The legendary tale of Hercules exemplifies this approach to life, willingly embracing struggles to achieve glory. Historically, courage has been divided into two categories: moral courage and physical courage. Moral courage encompasses the ability to follow one's conscience, even when doing so opposes societal norms or invites scandal. This form of courage is embodied in individuals such as whistleblowers and truth-tellers who fearlessly act on their convictions, regardless of consequences. Physical courage, contrastingly, involves putting one's life and well-being at risk. Soldiers and first responders exemplify this brand of courage. However, when examining the essence of courage, does this distinction truly matter? Fundamentally, courage of any kind involves risk-taking, facing danger, and braving perilous situations. Willingly exposing oneself to hardship and danger is the common thread uniting these definitions. A prime example of this courageous spirit can be found in the mythological figure Hercules, an esteemed warrior of ancient Greek lore. Contrary to the perception of him as a thoughtless and impulsive demigod, Hercules consciously chose a life of struggle and hardship in his pursuit of virtue. In this legendary tale, young Hercules encounters a pivotal crossroads. Two goddesses appear before him, each presenting a starkly different path. One goddess, beautifully adorned, lures him with promises of a life filled with pleasure, ease, and luxury. If he were to follow her, he would escape all pain and adversity, enjoying a fantasy-like existence. The other goddess, dressed modestly, presents a decidedly less appealing offer. Choosing her path would mean embracing a life of tireless effort and struggle rather than indulgence. However, despite the inevitable pain and challenges awaiting him on this path, Hercules would gain an intangible prize: glory. This accolade stems from defying the odds, pursuing virtue, and displaying unfaltering courage in the face of adversity. Hesitating momentarily, Hercules ultimately elects to tread the difficult but virtuous path. This decision has cemented his legacy and immortalized his name throughout the ages. Much like Hercules' choice, the true nature of courage comes down to willingly facing hardships and dangers, be it through moral or physical means. The critical question we must all grapple with is, would we, given the choice, follow in Hercules' footsteps? Conquer fear with logic. Fear is the enemy of courage, but also what makes courage possible. To overcome fear, we can learn from the ancient Greeks, specifically the famous statesman Pericles. The key message is, logic can help you overcome your fears. Pericles demonstrated this when he calmed his troops during a terrifying storm. By using logic and reason, we can expose our fears to the light of reason, making many threats less frightening. The trick is to explore and break down our fears, as some are no more threatening than clashing rocks or distant thunder. Embrace and define your fears. Vagueness and uncertainty amplify fear, making it more difficult to assess potential threats in our lives. The key to overcoming this fear is not avoiding it, but confronting and defining it. This can be achieved through practices such as fear setting, a concept rooted in Stoic philosophy, which aims to examine and articulate the fears that hold us back in life. Entrepreneurs like Tim Ferriss and John D. Rockefeller have implemented this practice in their lives, using it as a tool to stay alert and agile in times of change and upheaval. By meditating on our fears and understanding their true dimensions, we can better equip ourselves to handle them if they ever come to pass. In an ever-changing world, the fear of the unknown is inevitable. But when we allow our minds to exaggerate and misconstrue potential threats, it can hold us back from reaching our full potential. To overcome these uncertainties, we must face our fears head-on and articulate their true size, rather than shy away from them. A proven technique for confronting these fears is called fear setting, a concept endorsed by successful entrepreneurs like Tim Ferriss. The idea behind it is quite ancient, having its roots in Stoic philosophy. Stoic philosophers like Seneca practiced a technique called premeditatio malorum, or premeditation of evils, which involves visualizing potential misfortunes in life. By becoming familiar with our fears, we lessen their power to intimidate us. John D. Rockefeller, for example, would regularly ask himself what he would do if the foundations of his business empire crumbled. This kind of introspection helped him stay agile and alert in times of uncertainty, ultimately amassing a fortune in the process. Of course, facing our fears doesn't guarantee instant success. However, the process of acknowledging and defining them can help us develop a clearer understanding of their true nature, preventing irrational exaggeration and panic. By fully understanding the nature of our fears, we'll be better prepared to tackle them if and when they arise, fostering a spirit of resilience and adaptability that's crucial in today's world. Courage in small steps. Courage is often portrayed as grand, heroic actions. However, true bravery can also be expressed in smaller, everyday moments. Aristotle believed that virtues, including courage, are developed by consistently practicing those actions over time. To truly cultivate bravery, we must make small steps towards our goals. Take Florence Nightingale, for example, who started small in her nursing journey and became one of the most admired women in British history. She took the courageous decision to work in a hospital for one summer. This small choice led her to redefine the nursing industry. Similarly, inventor Thomas Edison prioritized working on difficult projects, driven by his belief that life is too short to focus on trivial matters. These historical figures prove that small actions can have a significant impact, as long as they are in the right direction. In the end, we should not worry about the size of the steps we take, but rather ensure that those steps lead us towards achieving something greater. Courage in a minute. In 1960, Martin Luther King Jr. was wrongfully arrested and faced potential harm in jail. In desperation, his wife Coretta Scott King reached out to both John F. Kennedy and Richard Nixon for help. While Nixon hesitated, Kennedy, with a few quick phone calls, managed to secure King's release. His brave act, which took only a minute, won over the crucial black voters, leading to his eventual victory in the presidential election. This highlights the importance and impact a brief moment of courage can have on our lives and the lives of others. In the tense atmosphere of October 1960, Martin Luther King Jr. found himself imprisoned in Georgia, targeted by the Southern authorities. As a black man attempting to dine at a public restaurant, he faced being sentenced to months on a chain gang. Distressed, Coretta Scott King had no choice but to seek help from presidential hopefuls Kennedy and Nixon. With a tight race on their hands, both candidates had their reasons to assist, but which of them would take that courageous step? What transpired was nothing short of astonishing. Nixon, despite his personal friendship with King and history of supporting civil rights, hesitated, costing him dearly. On the other hand, Kennedy wasted no time in taking action. Through a series of vital phone calls to the governor of Georgia, the judge in Alabama, and Coretta Scott King, Kennedy quickly turned the tides. As a result, King emerged safely and publicly praised Kennedy for his efforts. As the presidential race came to a close, Kennedy clinched victory by a razor-thin margin, made possible by the votes of those who admired his noble act. This turn of events underscores the significance of courage. It often takes no more than a minute or two, like sending an email or making a phone call, to profoundly impact our own lives and others. Don't underestimate the power of a small act of courage, it could change history. Selfless courage, true heroism. Martin Luther King Jr. is a name synonymous with the civil rights movement. Behind the scenes, Stanley Levinson was a key figure, drafting speeches and organizing fundraising campaigns. However, when allegations of communist sympathies arose, Levinson chose to selflessly leave the movement instead of tarnishing it, prioritizing the cause over his personal convictions. True heroism is sacrificing for others, making teammates stronger, and sometimes stepping away from your calling for the greater good. We all know Martin Luther King Jr. as the monumental civil rights leader of the 20th century, but few are aware of Stanley Levinson, the man behind the scenes. Levinson played a crucial role in shaping King's speeches and organizing his fundraising campaigns, significantly contributing to King's eventual success. However, when President John F. Kennedy discovered allegations of Levinson's communist sympathies, he pressured King to sever ties with him. Rather than defending himself or asking King to prioritize their friendship, Levinson demonstrated remarkable courage and selflessness. In an act of heroism, he quietly chose to leave the movement to prevent it from being tainted by his association. This act highlights the essence of true heroism, courage used for the benefit of others. Levinson willingly let go of a cause and a figure he deeply admired, recognizing that his presence could hinder the movement's success. Instead of forcing King to make a painful decision, Levinson took the initiative to step away from the civil rights campaign. Heroism is brought to life in acts of self-sacrifice, exemplifying a team player mentality. While we celebrate extraordinary individuals like Michael Jordan, we must also recognize the vital roles played by others, such as his co-captain Bill Cartwright, who helped lead the Chicago Bulls to consecutive championships. A hero uplifts their team, strengthening and elevating their teammates. This may entail showcasing unwavering resilience during trying times or motivating others through personal examples or words. Sometimes, as in the case of Stanley Levinson, heroic acts require stepping away from one's calling for the greater good. When such courage is selflessly manifested, it embodies the true spirit of heroism.
In conclusion, Courage is Calling, Fortune Favors the Brave, by Ryan Holiday offers invaluable insights into the essence of bravery, empowering readers to recognize the significance of courage in their lives. The book teaches that courage is founded on taking risks, enduring danger, and facing adversity head-on. It provides guidance on overcoming fear through logic and reasoning, and underlines the importance of small, incremental steps toward achieving greatness. Finally, it emphasizes the selflessness and heroism inherent in acts of courage performed for the benefit of others. With this informative and engaging summary, readers are encouraged to reflect on their own lives and embrace the virtues of fearlessness, determination, and heroism.